Let's be honest, this is how 99% of us use our timing bezels on a regular basis. Well, that and making eggs. Let me introduce you to the Parkingmaster. Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Alton. I'm so glad that you could join me today. Today I have a very interesting watch. It's called the Vanbanner Parkingmaster. That's right, you've heard of the Seamaster, you've heard of the Marine Master, you've heard of the Ocean Master, and now we have the Parkingmaster. Yes, that's right, this is called the Parkingmaster, and it is a very interesting watch. The very first watch going into production by Vanbanner Watches. I did bring you the Trilobita a few weeks ago, which was a very interesting watch. Now that has not made it to market. This one has already launched. It launched just a couple days ago. The owner of Vanbanner Watches is named LV. He's a watch enthusiast and a microbrand lover. He lives in Vancouver, British Columbia, in our beautiful country of Canada. He has a printing company called Vanbanner, and it went out of business because of COVID-19 in early 2020. So with a lot of time on his hands, he decided to produce his own watch, and he calls it Vanbanner Watches. Now, this is the Parkingmaster, and the Parkingmaster is a very interesting watch. Now, most of us know, 99% of us never take our dive watches in the water. Well, maybe we take them in the water, in the pool, in the lake, but we don't go diving with them. And so knowing this, Vanbanner Watches decided that it would lean into the real reason that most people use their watch's timing bezel, and that is for parking. And so right here at the top, you'll notice the numbers go backwards from what you're used to. And here's how you do it. I actually did it wrong in the intro. So let's say you've just pulled up to the curb, put your money in, and you've got 30 minutes for your parking. All you do is take your bezel and align 30 minutes to that minute hand, and then you'll see it'll count down all the way to 0. When you notice it's getting in that red, you know that it's time to hustle to your car. Now, according to my calipers, the case of the Parkingmaster is just a hair under 40 millimeters. Meanwhile, the bezel is just a hair over 40. Lug to lug is a very compact 46 millimeters, and it sits 13.5 millimeters with that domed sapphire crystal. Now, the interesting thing about the Parkingmaster is that although it is a 40 millimeter watch, it has a 22 millimeter lug opening. All of this means that the Parkingmaster is going to fit a lot of wrists. It sits very well on wrist. I have an 8-inch wrist. You'll see later that it suits me very well. And if I think you had a 6.5-inch wrist, you could pull this off no problem. It is a little on the thicker side, but it just honestly doesn't feel that way when it's on the wrist. Now I have two different colorways here. The blue is called Toronto Street Sign Blue. And if you've ever seen a street sign in Toronto, this is exactly the color, except this has a much more dynamic dial than you would find on a blue street sign in Toronto. And this version here is called Emerald Lake Green, and it is by far my favorite color. I normally am a blue guy, but this just looks really cool. Under the hood of the Parkingmaster is an NH38, which is a nice reliable movement. It is a no date option, and it's often used in a open heart version of Seiko watches and microbrand watches with open hearts using this NH38 movement. And I found it to be reliable, and both have been keeping quite good time. The NH38, as you would imagine, has a hacking and, of course, hand winding feature. And being that it is a no-date version, there's only one position there, and of course another position there. Just the two. There's no ghost date on this, which is really nice. This has a screw down crown, as you would expect with 100 meters water resistance. And moving those out of the way, we can see the Vanbanner logo, which I quite like. Down above the 6, it says Vanbanner in white, automatic in white, and Parkingmaster in red. And of course, right down here, it says 10 ATM for 10 Atmos, or 100 meters water resistance. You can see that the markers are very nicely applied. Everything on both models seems to line up really well. They grab your attention. They're dynamic with a silver outline filled with lume. Very, very legible, very tidy. It just works. The handset, of course, has a red seconds hand, and that seconds hand has some lume on the end, which I really like. The hour and the minute hand are kind of a shiny chrome that catches the light. Really, the star of the show is that lume-filled hour hand and minute hand. You'll see when I turn off the lights. The crystal is a sapphire crystal. It is slightly domed, just ever so slightly. The bezel insert is also sapphire, and it's also lumed. There is a logo on the crown, which is hard to pick up with this coating. Now, the case itself is a very interesting case. LV was saying that when he went to design his watch, they were sort of telling him that he could save quite a bit of money if he went with a case that was already pre-existing. But he decided that he wanted to design his own case. This sort of reminds me of some of the old Hamilton military watches, but it definitely is its own thing. And Vanbanner Watches says that they took their inspiration from the Tesla Cybertruck. And if you've ever seen that thing, it is crazy. And you know what? I didn't pick up on that when I first saw it, but now that I know that, yep, I can definitely see that influence. You'll notice that it's very straight across here, so there's no need for a curved lug. A nice thick rubber strap would actually fill that gap quite nicely. You can look through and see there's very little light protruding through there. Definitely angular, but interesting all at the same time. You can even see that side profile is very unique. So I wanted to leave the NATO strap off of one of the versions. I have this really nice Vario strap on it, but I wanted you to be able to see the Caseback. The Caseback has what looks like a sprocket. It's actually an escape wheel. And inside of it, we read stainless steel, sapphire crystal, and bezel insert, NH38, designed for parking countdown, and the Vanbanner logo. And then there is a bore in the middle, PM for Parkingmaster, and this is LV's lucky animal. And it has a palette, he says, on the back. So if you saw the Trilobita review, you'll know that LV has a thing for crazy casebacks, definitely whimsical, and you really have to give it up to Vanbanner Watches. They could have made something safe, another Submariner homage or something like that. But in all of his designs, he's made something that he feels is unique to him. He even went so far as to design the fonts on the dials. And so, I just have to give it up to him and give some respect for that, because at the end of the day, he's taking a gamble, but he's being true to who he is. And that's one of the reasons why I really like this company. Now, this blue dial has a sunburst effect to it, which is very, very nice. You can see it reflecting off my studio lights. And then this one, which I just love the color, and I love the texture of this one here, actually has sort of a linen dial to it, which is kind of hard to pick up on camera, but you can definitely see it there. And there's a third version, which is black with an open heart, and it's called the Gas Town, and it is a matte black dial. So you even see that he's gone to great lengths to vary them up. The color and the texture is different on all three models, and I just have to give it up to them. I respect that. The strap is this one here. This is the strap that it comes on. This one here is a Vario strap, and I'm sure you'll have seen pictures, and you will see more pictures of these on different straps, because honestly, these are strap monsters, to use a term I know has been overdone. But really, you wouldn't think it, but these are a lot of fun to pair up with different kinds of straps. This NATO seems to be really well done. It's got nice stitching, very solid hardware. It's fairly thick and durable, and I think you'll have absolutely no problem getting quite a bit of longevity out of this strap, although I have to say you're probably going to end up experimenting with straps as you go. And here is what the Parkingmaster looks like on my 8-inch wrist. Now, this is not the strap that it comes with. This is a Vario strap, but I think you can get a good sense of the size. Notice that although it's a 40mm watch, it doesn't look small on my wrist, and it sits very well. And strapping this awesome gray-green dial Vanbanner Parkingmaster on my wrist, you can see just how great that looks. Really fun, whimsical, it's unique. You're definitely not going to be finding someone on the street wearing one of these things. If that's something that interests you, I think you're really going to enjoy it. Now let's take a look at that bezel action. I did show you how to operate it for parking. What I find here is that nice and clicky, a little bit of back play on this prototype model, but not too bad. Definitely feels solid to me. And the strap looks great. Well, let's talk about Lume. This thing has got Lume for days. The bezel insert, the indices, even the seconds hand are all lumed, and it lasts a long time. A lot of these watches, you throw it under the UV light, you turn it off, and then the next thing you know, it's already starting to fade. But you don't find that here. It uses BGW9 Swiss Superluminova. And I did forget to mention that there are 3 layers of air coating on the underside of the crystal as well. You see, these days, with the weather we have in Canada, air coating just isn't something that we care about a whole lot because we haven't seen the sun in 6 weeks. All right, let's talk about pricing. The price on this is $252 Canadian dollars. Now you're saying, what the heck does that mean? Well, that's about 198 US dollars, 161 euros, 145 pounds, 256 Australian. So we're talking about a sub $200 watch with sapphire crystal with AR coating, sapphire bezel insert, a really unique timepiece. It just seems really well done. For under 200 bucks, it really does seem like a steal to me. And I think that definitely this pre-order pricing is something that if this interests you, you're going to want to jump on in the month of February, because after that, the price goes up. So if this is something that interests you, go for it now. I do want to say that this is a prototype. Both of these are prototypes, and Vanbanner is switching factories for the final product. In fact, he's going upscale in his factory choice. He's told me that he's using a factory that many well-respected micro brands will be using, and he just felt more comfortable in that kind of situation, knowing that it's very important that quality rules the day when it comes to a micro brand, because we come to micro brands for the uniqueness. We come to micro brands for the value, and we come to micro brands for the quality. And I think it's really important to LV that these Parkingmasters are done with quality. That being said, I can't speak to the quality of the final product because all I have before me are these prototypes that were produced at what he considered to be an inferior factory. And if that's the situation, then I feel pretty confident in the final product because these look great to me. I'd like to thank Vanbanner Watches for sending this in. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, like and subscribe if that's something you'd like to do. I can't tell you what to do. I'm not your dad.